What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're here for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. And it's the final of like the big three rebuilds coming out from the NFL trade deadline. Maybe saving the best for last. Gotta rep the Eagles because it pains me every time we rebuild an NFC East team. But the Dallas Cowboys, with the moves that they made at the trade deadline, going out at 3-5-1. And being like, you know, we're gonna be buyers. We're gonna spend some of this money from the Micah Parsons trade. You know, the draft capital, and what they'd go out and get is a great player. I can't, you know, act like it's not annoying that Quinnen Williams is coming to the NFC. So I can't act like Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, even if they only keep Kenny Clark for this year, is not going to improve that defense a little bit. If that defense gets a little bit better with the way that the offense is playing, this Dallas Cowboys team can be an absolute problem. Now, I very quickly want to plug that tomorrow night is Tuesday night. I'm thinking probably 8 p.m. Eastern start time. We will be having our Vegas Raiders Super Bowl stream plus off-season, probably, most likely, here on the channel, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Raiders Super Bowl. The paint's going to be coming out. You're not going to want to miss it. So take a look at this roster, starting the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the offense is not a problem right now. I think you could probably make the argument that Dallas has a top 5 offense in the league right now. Are some of those numbers and stats coming in garbage time because their defense is so bad? And is their offense so good because they have to go absolutely all out because their defense is so bad? I think there is some validity to that, but I thought all along when I was going to do a Cowboys rebuild, I was like, all right, what quarterback are we bringing in? I'm going to move off of Dak, but Dak's played great football this year. Now, again, the context of how well he's playing, and be it in a important moment of a game versus, you know, you guys are down 20 and have to throw the football. I mean, that's kind of been Dak Prescott's career. And I think I'm going to be unbiasedly an Eagles fan here and take it on the side. Like, this offense is not a problem right now. I don't think we need to put at the top of our bulletin board of how to fix and how to rebuild this Cowboys team trading Dak Prescott and moving off Dak Prescott just right now. Now, he's 32, so come year 4, year 5 of this rebuild, maybe that question becomes a little bit louder. But I think when you have CeeDee Lamb, when you have George Pickens, who isn't a contract year, we're going to decide what goes on there. But everyone knows, if you watch my channel for a minute, I'm a big George Pickens fan. My plan is to retain him. You have Jake Ferguson, who's emerged and developed into a top 5 tight end this year. I am a card-carrying member of the Javonte Williams Club. I know that his stock was pretty low when he was in kind of the end there in Denver. But at North Carolina, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, I think he's been like bouncing around on the Cardinals team. That was as good of a 1-2 punch that I've seen in college football in a very long time. I've been a big fan, and I think all it took for Javonte Williams was landing the right scheme, the right fit, and he's crushing it this year for the Dallas Cowboys, so that's pretty badass, and I'll tell you, I'll put him on the list of guys that I kind of want to retain and build around here on the offense. I'm a big fan of this offensive line from a Madden standpoint. I hate when we start a rebuild and we look and we clearly are going to have to use premier draft capital to fix the offensive line. Now, that could be honestly in the discussion for right tackle. Terrence Steele, out of anyone on this roster, is probably the contract we want to get out of sooner than later. But I think when we view this, and you have to, as like a 5-year window, I think Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, and Tyler Guyton. Maybe Guyton could be like the question mark, but he does have the dev trait, which goes a long way in Madden. Like, I think 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen should be here for this rebuild, which is awesome. I love inheriting that. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys defense, we have to start with the unfortunate, terrible news that happened a week ago with Marshawn Kneeland. Don't need a recap of what did happen. I think mental health is something that needs to be stressed a lot more, like the men's mental health side of things. And I've been doing YouTube long enough, man. There have been probably hundreds of comments over the years, not to make this about me, but people that comment that they're going through stuff and they can kind of chill out and watch my videos, and I always try my best to respond to that stuff. Yeah, just talk. There's always someone that cares. There's never a no-exit situation. You always have a path forward. So what we're going to do here is similar to other situations like this. I remember we did like a Pittsburgh Steelers rebuild with Dwayne Haskins. And I was like, you know what? We're going to keep him on the roster. We're going to win a Super Bowl with him on this roster, even though they won't play. That's what we're going to do with Marshawn Kneeland. Just brutal, man. Gone too soon. Now, looking at the rest of the defense, there are some injuries that we're obviously dealing with Trevon Diggs probably the most impactful. We got Ravel and Overshown coming back from injuries. That is the expectation right now. I'm just kind of forecasting because IRL right now the Cowboys are in a bye week. So we need all the help we can get. So we're going to get Ravel and Overshown back from injuries. They made the trade with the Bengals to get Logan Wilson. Not great from, a 5-year rebuild standpoint, but for the time being, certainly can do a lot worse at linebacker. At safety, it's certainly not the best either. We got Deron Bland at corner, Kyer Elam and Ravel at corner. Like maybe that should be okay. Pass rush situation, not perfect. The interior looks great. Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, Odigizua. I loved, and by loved I mean very frustrated that Donovan Ezuraku from Boston College went to the Dallas Cowboys. He was certainly very high on my Philadelphia Eagles dream wish list, and he's been productive for you guys. Got a bunch of sacks already as a rookie. So I definitely see players that are going to be here long term, like Ezuraku, Quinnen Williams. I'd like to think Ravel and Deron Bland could be guys that we could count on year one that will still be here in year 5 as impactful players. But I think a lot of work needs to be done. I'm looking at our top draft picks that we still have remaining. I don't think it's fair to say that Quinnen Williams is your Micah Parsons replacement. So we have to go find, at some point, a pass rusher that can be a Micah Parsons replacement. But the reality is that this offense is good enough at trading points with anybody in the league that I don't know if we're ever going to have a high enough pick without making a big trade up to get like a Micah Parsons caliber prospect in the 2026 or 2027 realistic classes. But without further ado, let's kick off, finish out year number 1, and see if there's a way that this defense, with the couple additions that they made at the trade deadline, is going to be good enough to have this Cowboy team sneak into the playoffs in the wildcard round. So we have minus $16 million in salary cap, which I don't think is real life. I don't think they're over the salary cap right now. Like if I go Dallas Cowboys cap space, I have a feeling they have some room right now. Right now, according to this, they have $20 million of salary cap, which is not a lot, but $20 million would probably be enough to throw an offer at George Pickens, who really wants to stay here. Throw an offer at Javonte Williams, who really wants to stay here. I'm going to assume that once we hit the offseason, that salary cap situation will kind of fix itself. So, and I think that's probably how Dallas is going to play it from a realistic standpoint. I don't think a George Pickens extension is going to happen till the offseason. So I'm not really panicking, but I don't really know why we're 16 in the red right now. I imagine it's something to do with we're doing the start today live roster update with the Quinnen Williams trade and all that stuff. So, no contract extensions till the offseason, and hopefully that salary cap figures itself out. So the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, not a brutal schedule down the stretch. We squeak into the playoffs. They go 9-7-1. We go, 6-2? Down our final 8 games or something like that. We finished with the number 1 offense. Passing, rushing out, and the defense got a little bit better. That defense was bottom in the league, and we had to go 19th. So the addition of Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, obviously did enough. And I think it's very fair to say in that tie that they had against Green Bay, which I hold that tie against the Packers. I remember watching that game. It was like, Green Bay's playing for the freaking tie right now. So embarrassing. But that tie is likely what gets us in the playoffs over the Carolina Panthers and Chicago Bears. And that tie for Green Bay is probably what gives them the 1 seed over the Philadelphia Eagles, who we're taking on in the first round of the playoffs at Lincoln Financial Field. Great time to play spoiler. I'll say right now, I got strong vibes from this Dallas Cowboys system and scheme. We were pretty much scoring 35 points every single game. Just under 4,500 yards for Dak Prescott, 36 touchdowns to 8 picks. Running the ball, Javonte Williams was awesome. Really, really need to get the salary cap figured out. Want to retain him. I want him to be the running back of this rebuild. CeeDee Lamb, well, he missed like a month. I can say that as someone that has CeeDee Lamb on fantasy football. You put 4 more games on that. Look out. We might be breaking records with CeeDee Lamb when all is said and done here today. We get over 1,000 yards for George Pickens. So much like Devontae Williams, want to re-sign him. Jake Ferguson, 95 catches, leads the team in receptions. That likely will be, he's on star dev right now. I'll be shocked if he's not a superstar come the end of the season. Defensively, Logan Wilson, over 100 tackles. We got 8.5 sacks, Kenny Clark, 8.5 sacks for Davian Clowney. 5.5 from Ezuraku, only 3 from Quinnen Williams. Obviously didn't have great production with the Jets. Come and learn. I'm expecting that he's going to step up, and I think we'll see some of that number that next year, a full year of Quinnen Williams as a starter, though what Kenny Clark had. And on the interception front, not great, but not brutal. I've definitely seen worse. Dak Prescott goes top 5 in MVP voting. That's painful. If you were watching this as a Cowboy fan, Micah Parsons wins Defensive Player of the Year with the Packers. Ezraku going in the top 3 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Dak Prescott, runner-up for Best Quarterback. I think the stats and production should be enough for Dak to get that X-Factor upgrade at the end of the season. It's going to be close. Javonte Williams, runner-up for Running Back of the Year. Again, really want to keep him. At least we get one award winner going to Brandon Aubrey for winning Kicker of the Year. I don't want to be too biased, but this will be one of the rare playoff wins because it's only year 1 of the rebuild. And I won't be too upset if we don't get this one across the line. Let's see. I mean, Dallas is, as much as I think most Dallas fans would hope that they could be ran like my Philadelphia Eagles. Look at this, dude. Only in Madden, but we will take it. The Dallas Cowboy curse of never doing anything in the playoffs. Classic Dallas, one and done. Not today. In the wildcard round over an Eagles team that was right in the discussion for the 1 seed. In their barn. The Eagles home. Lincoln Financial Field. Beat the brakes off them. 38-17. Oh, I hate this. But also happy. Okay, it's a Cowboys rebuild. Dak played very, very well. Run game on point. CeeDee Lamb was unstoppable. And on the defensive side of the ball, we got 2 sacks from Ezraku. We got 3 picks on Jalen Hurts. And the Cowboys are moving on. You're just getting a god roll of opponents at Dallas if you said that you win the Super Bowl. Beating Philly, ending their reign, Super Bowl champs, on the road, and then in the division round being able to send the Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons home. We have a chance of perfection here, but this is going to be... And we're going to earn it. That's a lot of green when you look at the ratings there for the Green Bay Packers. But I'm telling you, boys, I mean, as expected. I can tell you right now, it's not as cheesy and overpowered as it's been the last couple of years. We've already said all Cowboys playbook, yada, yada, yada. But this, I think we sure as hell can score points against anybody. Let's see, going into Lambeau Field. Can the Road Warriors, the Road Dogs, continue? Dallas strikes first with a field goal. It's not going to take field goal. Safety for the Packers. We're able to capitalize there and get another... Okay, yeah, we can't be trading field goals here. We need touchdowns. Jordan Love might figure it out. But look at this defense, this Cowboys defense. That was averaging 40 points allowed. You go get a couple pieces, and we're holding this explosive Packer. We are going to maybe make we're the championship. And we send Micah Parsons and the Packers home. I'm not going to lie, I need these vibes. Year 3, year 4 of the rebuild, once I've actually done something. We're inheriting the changes that Jerry Jones did. And we're 8-2, counting the regular season, post-trade deadline. Jordan Love collapses. I'll tell you right now. Tonight, assuming this goes up Monday, it is Eagles-Packers. I know Packer fans are very, very excited with the season. And I'm going to say this, and watch Jordan Love go 5 touchdowns tonight against the Eagles, and it looks... But that, he's still the reason why I'm not scared of the Packers. Packers have a great roster. That Quinnen Williams, when you need him to make plays. 2 sacks in a TFL. Did Micah Parsons do anything? Nope. Nothing. And the only thing standing between us and a Super Bowl in year 1 of this 5-year rebuild is Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. That's a good roll. I think we're going to the Super Bowl. Reality is, we have Dak Prescott, who's as win now as it's going to get. I think out of all the rebuilds, all the realistic rebuilds anyways that we've done, we've not done a rebuild with a quarterback situationally like Dak very often. I think we did the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, and that one we won 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. But Dak can be good in Madden. He can be good in real life. But I think what we're getting here is a great opportunity to make the Super Bowl in year number 1 against a Seattle team that's good, but I think, I'll be honest, if this was the AFC Championship game and I'm trying to be unbiased, I think, assuming Dallas has gone through Philly and Green Bay on the road, I'd say Dallas would be favorites in this matchup. But not great that it took us all the way to the third quarter to score our first points, but it's about how you finish it. Our defense gave us a shot, only giving up 10. Touchdown, Seattle. We have to get it going. 4th down. Need a touchdown. Get the touchdown. Down 3. 3 minutes to go. We get the punt. Touchdown, Dallas. We're the Super Bowl year 1. Taking over a 3-5-1 midseason team. And we're a win away from being Super Bowl champions. And I'm going to have to try to entertain you guys to stick around for 4 more years to try to... Oh, no, I don't want to. It's painful enough rebuilding the Dallas Cowboys, let alone being like, we're going to do a dynasty. Dak Prescott did not play particularly well. 2 picks on the day, no touchdowns. The run game, though, was on point. God, we need to keep Javonte Williams. Pickens and Lamb did what they needed to do, step up. When the lights were brightest, Logan Wilson has been a game changer for this defense. Ezraku, the rookie pass rusher. Maybe he's going to be our Micah Parsons guy. I'm not saying that has to become the next Micah Parsons. But, Micah Parsons only ever, it's not like Micah Parsons was threatening in the sack record. Micah Parsons was good for, a dozen or so sacks a year. And I think Ezraku could do that. And in the Super Bowl, I don't know. Is history going to repeat itself? Twice during that period where the Bills made 4 straight Super Bowls and lost 4 straight. 93 and 94, both those years back-to-back were to the Cowboys. And in 1993, that Super Bowl game was 52-17 to Dallas. So a matchup, 3rd time's the charm. But more importantly, we have got to figure out a way to stop Josh Allen to have a chance at an absolute dynasty rebuild here for the Dallas Cowboys. As much as that pains me to say, I got to do it. Look at Buffalo. They were the 1 seed, so they took down the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Denver Broncos. Respectable path. Maybe Denver's a little bit of an easy layup in the championship game, but Denver's been able to make and win games incredibly ugly. So there's a respect in that. But this game here, I'm going to expect it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be what offense can score more, not what defense can shut down the opposing team's offense. So here we go, man. We got the very unlikely Super Bowl run for the Cowboys, but offensively, this is an offense that could go on and win a Super Bowl. They can put up points against anybody. We have one of the best special teams units in the league with Turpin and Aubrey, and our defense at the trade deadline, bringing in Logan Wilson, who's surprisingly been a game changer. Obviously, Quinnen Williams has been one. Ezraku stepped up. We got Overshown and Siobhan Ravel inserted in the lineup for the backstretch of the year. And all it's going to do is, enough to deny Josh Allen his final, his first opportunity at a crowning moment. No Super Bowls. Nothing to show for it. He's going to have a career day here. Because I'll tell you right now, from a, pulling back the veil, from a Madden Sim standpoint, not a good matchup. I do not see Buffalo lighting up the scoreboards, and I've seen nothing but Dallas do that. But we're down 14-3. Got ourselves a hole here in the 4th quarter. No! Touchdown here. We need it. 3rd and 6. I'm not going to lie. Might be the best for the sake of this rebuild. We can learn from that. The year 1 Super Bowl would have been more lame than it would have been cool for me, personally. But the fact that we can make a Super Bowl, I would have liked to maybe put up more of a fight. That Dak Prescott offense that's been rolling. That defense that's been getting turnovers and sacks. Damn. 98 yards for Dak? It's like the most Dak thing ever. Oh, no. Just nothing offensively. That Buffalo Bills defense, Ezraku is a star in the making. 2.5 sacks in a TFL in the Super Bowl. Quinnen Williams getting after the quarterback. Kenny Clark getting after the quarterback. Josh Allen went full robo-quarterback mode, though. I felt like if we weren't getting sacks, we weren't getting stops. And when it was our turn on offense, just a pathetic performance from Dak Prescott. Damn. Hell of a run, though. It shows the ceiling of this team. This is only year 1. And I'm going to do my best. Obviously, with the salary cap situation, got to get figured out. But we'll be back. So as we clear out our lockers, dev traits galore. Dak Prescott is now a superstar X Factor. Javonte Williams is now a superstar. Jake Ferguson is now a superstar dev playmaker for us. Defensively, we got We unfortunately lose the X factor on Quinnen Williams, which kind of sucks. We can kind of get our healthy lineup back here. Ugh. Yeah. Now the salary cap, initial viewing here, still in the red. Went from 16 to 10. It was probably Jadeveon Clowney's contract coming off the books after retiring there. And in my pursuit to gain some salary cap, I can't even, refinance Dak Prescott over here and free up some salary cap. So I do think a piece of business is going to happen in real life. I think Kenny Clark's going to get released. So we need to free up that money. We free up another $7 million on Kenneth Murray. He's gone. I think for the state of this roster, Logan Wilson is very much a Band-Aid. He's gone. I think this one's painful, but for the state of our salary cap, Trevon Diggs just can't stay healthy. I think his time in Dallas is going to be over. You can also free up a couple $1 million moving off of Donovan Wilson. So I think the reality is we got rid of our expensive, underperforming defensive players on a defense that was pretty horrific. I think just the Kenny Clark thing seems kind of unanimous. I've looked around as much as I could. Cowboy Twitter, Cowboy Reddit. Seems like there's, he was kind of thrown in this year to help out, but long term, it probably is not going to make a whole lot of sense. So for us, we got to try to keep George Pickens 5 years. I think Javonte Williams is also going to be worth it here at $6 million. Which is weird that I just got rid of some important playmakers on the defense side. I don't pay a freaking running back. We also have Brandon Aubrey here, who I think we should try and lock in for the rest of the people. Didn't he already get a contract extension? Well, we're just able to keep everybody. We're not in a good spot salary cap-wise, and maybe that's why it's not a shock that we were able to get hot and go on a Super Bowl run. This roster is certainly, from a financial standpoint, pretty maxed out. Just kind of peeking at free agency if it was a good year or a bad year. Not a terrible year to have no money and be sitting on the sidelines. Now, another player that I think, if we're just in the business of our salary cap situation sucks, and I'm going to be honest, kind of regret giving Javonte Williams that extension. With a bad salary cap situation, you probably shouldn't be paying a running back. But let's get Terrence Steele's terrible contract off the books. So we got 2 late first-round picks in the 2026 class. And with kind of how we've trimmed the roster, put it politely, we need a tackle. So I think it's definitely going to be worth... Whoa, Caden Proctor got hit with a storyline. Could be juicy. We're picking, again, bottom 5 picks in the first round. Which the argument could be made, do we be aggressive with those picks? I think a dunker could be an interesting option if we stay put. I really think if our roster wasn't as expensive, I'd be willing to package those 2 lates first to maybe get up into the 7 to 12 range to get a real good player. But I think we need these picks right now. So let's look at Dennis Sutton. Guys that could be late first rounders. I think it's going to be very important for us to do our due diligence here. Hal's a stud. Feel pretty good about the linebacker. Pretty good at linebacker. At corner, moved off of Diggs. So if let's also need a safety. I don't think we're going to be able to get Josh Downs. Let's take a look at Delane. Guys in the 20s. So Dunker... All 3 of those guys would be, if we could get 2 or 3 of those somehow late first round, that'd be a huge dub for the Dallas Cowboys. So take a look at the mock draft more so. Who's going to be available when it's time for us to pick? Right now we're getting Anthony Hill Jr. Nope. Keldrick Falk. Maybe. Ooh, Caleb Downs is, that's almost an enticing trade because we need a free safety. Keep an eye on that. Outside, Jennings Dunker's going at 20. There's the run-on tackles right there. Pass rushers, Delane's going at 14th. Man, I don't want to trade up, though. We need our picks. Love Caleb Downs, but we need the picks. Yeah, fuck it. We got enough room on the thumbnail. If Caleb Downs is still there at 25. So a pick before he's supposed to go. So one more pick. If Downs, we're going to go get him. Just go get him right now. Screw it. To move up a couple spots, it's going to cost us a 3rd and a 5th next season, but good doing business with you, Detroit. And this is what I knew was going to happen. As soon as I paid Javonte Williams, I was like, I could probably get Jeremiah Love. Like, that would have been a very easy layup for us. But Caleb Downs on the board still. You can make an argument that, like, getting a DB might even be more important for the Cowboys than finding another pass rusher, especially with Ezraku being as good as he is as a rookie. So Caleb Downs, a blue chip talent at a non-premium position, falling down the draft boards, number 2 in true value at pick 25 for the Cowboys, and we have still another first-round pick coming up. So at pick 31, we kind of have pick of the litter right now. I think if we didn't re-sign Javonte Williams, I think I'd be very interested in bringing in Jeremiah Love. And I think if I could do it all over again with our salary cap situation, that's probably what I would have done. As it relates, though, we need a right tackle still. Not a great tackle market, unfortunately. I wouldn't hate Blake Miller if he's still there, later, but he's not going to be. We need a pass rush. And I've done a rebuild with David Bailey, and I've used Falk already. I've used both these guys already in rebuilds. I've yet to use Dennis Sutton, who we scouted as a legit first-round talent out of Penn State, trying to replace Micah Parsons, a Penn State pass rusher. I'm in. Number 18 in true value at 81 with a dev trait. This would be an insane haul for Dallas if they could get Dennis Sutton and Caleb Downs. Now we're in the 4th round. I think we're just going to, trust. We got Harkey and we got Wagner at right tackle. Harkey, C pass block, B run block. Pretty much all B's and C's. Same with Wagner. I might go with who's the strongest. 30, not 29 reps of the bench press. Harkey at 335. Expecting a little bit better. Pretty much the same. It's a push. But we're kind of desperate for a tackle. Oh, no. I think our right tackle spot's definitely going to be a situation here unless we can find like a 1-year rental in free agency or a trade. Our salary cap situation is looking a little bit better. $32 million. So it's at least it's not as dire as it was last offseason. So it's probably something with like the start today and how they made all the trades. And not a bad draft. I mean, we ended up 69-67 late at positions we need at depth. Dennis Sutton, 76 with a dev trade. And then we get Caleb Downs, one of the best players in all of college football, who is drastically going to improve this defense, immediately hitting the field. So we go desperately into the trade block, trying to find a tackle. And the Green Bay Packers, who are, I think they could be entertained. Anthony Belton was a 2nd-round pick, but they have so much depth at tackle that maybe things could be reassessed. Rasheed Walker got a contract extension. They got Zach Tom at right tackle. So they have Anthony Belton, 74 dev trait tackle available on the trade block. So I threw Thomas in just to kind of, obviously there's not a gigantic discrepancy there, and that gives him like a swing tackle depth if you're trying to make it realistic. But I threw in and overpaid. They're going to get back their 2nd-round investment on Belton. I'm going to throw in a 3rd-rounder down the line a little bit, as well as a 6th-rounder, and make this trade get across the line for probably, you can make an argument, there's maybe 2 or 3 other tackles that might be the perfect fit, but they weren't on trade blocks, and we're able to make business with the Packers once again. So to go to year number 2, obviously incredibly high expectations. Making that Super Bowl run, we brought back everybody. That was an important pending free agent. George Pickens, Javonte Williams, even though, again, in hindsight, might not have been the best call. We made the trade to get Belton here at right tackle, so at least, he definitely is still technically the weak link. It has never really started. But it makes our offensive line look a little bit better. And if we can, really, this rebuild is going to come down to maintaining this roster at this point. Like, if we can kind of keep all these guys here, Dak's going to start regressing. But if we keep this offense afloat, it's going to be very good. Defensively, we land Dennis Sutton and Caleb Downs, 2 absolute game changers. Our linebackers aren't anything special, but I don't think, too much of a liability. But there's only so much you can do with our very limited cash base. The fact that we had to dump so much salary cap just to get in the green here. I think the roster that we are fielding, we feel like somewhat, respectable about it. And, we need our pass rush here. This defensive line is the strength. They need to take over. And I'd love to see Caleb Downs take the league by storm and be a defensive rookie of the year contender, because we kind of need him to. So at midseason, a hot start, 5-2. We're not playing a first place schedule too, which I definitely think helps a little bit with some of these matchups. Get a nice win over Detroit. That's two, top end NFC teams, and it's the rookie Dennis Sutton with a 2-sack performance. Very impressive so far. Those 2 first-round picks. You throw in the fact that we got Caleb Downs, who, I've never really seen a DB yet just put up ridiculous numbers. But if one was going to, I could see it being Caleb Downs. Looking at our salary cap, we have $23 million, so we're still not really in a great spot. I think we probably let Overshown walk and just save what little salary cap we have, because I think keeping that offensive line together is going to be a priority, and we need money to do that. So at the end of year number 2, we go 14-3 with a top 5 offense, top 10 defense. We win the NFC East. And that's just, take note of that, as there's not been a repeat NFC East winner until probably this year in real life, but we're not going to jinx that, okay? But hell of a year, and I think with the moves that we made, that's a pretty damn good record with a 81 rated defense, which is probably going to be still one of the lowest rated defenses in the league. I will say, frustratingly, though, we are a team that, with maybe our salary cap situation on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of normal dev players, we didn't get a single dev trade scenario all season long, which was very, very frustrating to see. But the offense fired on all cylinders. Now, the only downside with the Belton trade, Casey might have viewed, I think we paid fair value, slightly overpaid. Not a scheme fit. So the house rules that we have for these rebuilds is every player has to get their XP, because XP is kind of crazy just by default. No amount of sliders. I don't think we'll fix it. We go into scheme fit. So Belton is still, I think we've had 4 skill points, but he's only gone up 1 point overall. So there's going to be a little bit of a slow grind there. But on the defensive side of the ball, there's good and bad news. The good news is Dennis Sutton is playing like an 88 overall. The good news is Caleb Downs, the number 2 player in the class, is a superstar X Factor. He put the C on his chest right away and ends his rookie campaign as an 85 overall. But the bad news is multiple starters, normal dev, not one with a dev trait scenario. Take a look at the stats. Dak Prescott played like, a top 8 quarterback, 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns to 5 picks is very good for him. Running the ball, Javonte Williams, I still will, that's probably the last time I'm going to bring it up because I don't want to dwell on my mistakes. I don't think, again, I think how much I like him and I'm a fan of the player caught up my judgment of our salary cap situation. But if we are going to go a little expensive on running back, that is great production. 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. We also get, 1,500 yards, a couple of receiving touchdowns is pretty good. Ferguson was solid. Didn't get 2,000-yard receivers, but if you're not going to get 2,000-yard receivers, I'll take, 40 yards shy, but double-digit touchdowns for both Pickens and CD Lamb. Defensively, we have Overshown 151 tackles, over 100 for Marquise Bell, over 100 for Lyle Fowl, which is good. The bad news is we're letting Overshown walk. He likely will get a dev trait increase. But look at that. 17 sacks from Quinnen Williams, 16.5 from the rookie Dennis Sutton, 12.5 from Ezraku. Odigizua was 7.5. Those are some of the best sack numbers we've got in a sim, and this is just default Dallas Cowboy. And then the one corner, we cut Trevon Diggs from a salary cap standpoint. That means Ravel needs to stand up and start producing, start performing. He gives us 5 interceptions on the year. That could also be a dev trait scenario increase. Looking at the yearly awards here, Coach of the Year goes to Brian Schottenheimer. I'll be honest, I clown on that hire as much as anybody. Hell of a scheme, hell of a system that we got a run in here. We got a runaway candidate and winner for Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Dennis Sutton. Caleb Downs making the top 10, and the only other word we were close for was Dak Prescott, Quarterback of the Year, and I think Quinnen Williams was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year, but getting excellent return on investment on that trade with Micah Parsons way down there at 5. Get a rematch from last year's first round. We got Philly the wild card. We beat them last year at the link. This time, this is the scary side for Dallas. Last year, we were kind of going on a Cinderella run. That is unforeseen territory for Dallas. Usually, when Dallas makes the playoffs, they're really good, and the expectations are Super Bowl or bust. Let's see how we can play now, no longer as the underdog, but as the favorite, where historically, it has been terrible. This is the one spot where you want to see Dak Prescott play his best football. You are the favorites. There's no garbage time. There's no your defense is going to allow 50 points and you got to score 60. Just win the game. Control the game, win the game, play efficient football. Let's forget the fact in the Super Bowl you had less than 100 yards. This is an ugly game. Probably an ugly game. Advantage will go to the Eagles, who have a better roster at this point. But a great drive here by Dak Prescott. Touchdown gives us a chance. End of game drive. Ball in the hand of Dak. A second time. Come on. Obviously, I'm not going to be too upset about that result, but it's one of those things, like, is that year one Super Bowl appearance going to be a blip in the radar, and it's going to be an absolute slog to get back there. Dak was solid. Definitely not great by any means, but not a liability. That run game was non-existent. Really did a good job not letting any of our receivers kind of take the game over. Defensively, love Quinnen Williams showing up like that, but, Dennis Sutton, nothing. Didn't get anything from Ezraku. And on the defensive side, Jalen Hurts was pretty robo quarterback. And then today, this classic Dallas, man. Favorites, crash and burn. We need to sneak into the playoffs as like an 8-9 wild card for us, I think, to go win a Super Bowl. We got a little bit of a Buffalo Bills dynasty coming here. 2 straight Super Bowls for Josh Allen and company. Looking at our team, dev traits are gained for Jake Ferguson, who's now a superstar X Factor. Defensively, we get a superstar dev trait on Dennis Sutton for his insane rookie season. Thought Quinnen Williams probably should have gone up X Factor. He had insane amount of production. Made a Pro Bowl as well. I guess he's just at that age. But Siobhan Brevell also makes the jump from star to superstar at corner. Let's put the C on Q's chest. So at the end of the year, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Guyton to get ahead of that contract potentially next year. Overshown does go up dev trait, and we do have our salary cap's going up. I think a 3-year deal. I think if he takes that, I can live with that. One less position we have to worry about. It's not brutal money, and he just led the team in tackles. We actually have a little bit of money here if we wanted to spend, but for our squad, it'd be like another linebacker potentially, and there's just not really a lot that you get excited about looking at the linebacker market. Toto 26 with the depth rate, but of course 0 interest in joining the team. A nickel corner, like someone like a Kenny Moore on a 1-year, but $16 million on a rental. Garrett Williams can play nickel. Clark Phillips can play nickel. I'd love for one of these guys to have a dev trait, because that could be where we go in the draft. Corner absolutely can be playing. We feel great about our safety room. So I think now that we're finally starting to get a little bit of breathing room from the salary cap, I don't want to spend it for the sake of spending it. And there's no one that's like an obvious upgrade. So we'll sit on the sidelines. Looking at the final mock draft, we are projected to go corner. Boo Carter from Tennessee, dynamic playmaker, who's a legitimate talent there. Could be in. That could very well be a possibility. Kind of knew corner was going to be a position of need. Look at this. We got value. Boot Carter, first, second rounder. We have first, second rounder on Hampton, but I've drafted him before, and he wasn't really anything too crazy. So I do like Boot Carter there. Linebacker would be another need. I don't know if we look for secondary, like Chris Cole from Georgia. Get some information there. Romaine at Kansas State. Look at all Whit Weeks from LSU. Let's do our homework on linebackers. I think corner, linebacker could very well be the order of operations here for this draft success. So we're going to stay put. Not going to trade up. We'll trust the board. Annoying in a way that, Keith Abney just went at 30 from Arizona State. Certainly would have been an interesting name for us to go get. You got quarterback options. If I don't know when Dak retires, but Arch Manning on the board. I think in real life, this would be like the worst case scenario for Cowboy fans, because you're like, oh yeah, we're going to go get him. But Cam Coleman's a stud. Some good wide receivers available. Anthony Smith from Minnesota is one of the most productive pass rushers in college football right now. But corner is our need. And Boo Carter fits the bill here out of Tennessee. Big time athlete. 27 at 31. Get the dev trait. And he'll be a day 1 starter as a rookie. Now with our second round picks. Still have quarterbacks. Oh man, Coy Parrish. That's going to be a fun player to get at some point. Yeah, linebackers. What do we got? Oh, great. Of course, a run on linebackers. Get Whit Weeks. Could go like best lineman available, I suppose. Just because I don't know if we can keep everybody. Like Cage Casey, B pass block, B run block. Ashton Denty's big time tackle. Definitely represents some value. Could use a third wide receiver. We really want. We got Cooper and Wilson actually in our Colts rebuild that we just dropped. In case you missed that, and Cooper ended up being a stud. He ended up being our wide receiver 1. Is it time to get like a Dak? Like, can we get, Lagway, Raiola to sit behind Dak Prescott? So that come like year 4, year 5 of this rebuild, we have like a guy that's been waiting and developing. Sorsby as well. I think I'd be more inclined with Lagway because of the undeniable traits, and then he just sits and learns. Because Dak does have the mentorship tag. Oh, but I kind of feel like Dak won't retire. And like at year 5, Dak would still be better than a quarterback that's not beginning starting reps. Well, this guy. A tackle, A pursuit. Xavier Atkins. Are you the answer? I like the athletic profile. 77 at 56. We get the dev trade. Let's go. I'm not going to lie. Not familiar with your game. But we're about to be. So take a look at our draft recap. Had limited picks this year. We went best lineman available. So we got obviously 74 dev trait, 71 dev trait. Needed a linebacker corner. Got a linebacker corner. I went best lineman available, which is Drew Bobo from Georgia. And I guess at 68, Carter Beebe's contract could be coming up. We might not be able to afford it. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility there. We also need a starting punter. We get Ryan Eckley from Michigan State, 70 rated player in the 7th round. Is always good value. Something that I didn't really think of as we start year number 3, Dennis Sutton. I was like 16 sacks for a rookie. That is kind of crazy. Also, shout out Lenore Sellers doing the damn thing for the Rams. But Dennis Sutton, we said, I don't think there's any way you can replace Micah Parsons. We went out and got a rookie from the same school as Micah Parsons who shattered the rookie single season sack record. So, expectations very high for him to continue playing at that level here in year 3. So, in midseason, we had a pretty damn tough schedule. I think we very much are the victims of that first place schedule at 4-4. We have a pretty easy backstretch of the season after our bye week. So I think we absolutely can go on a run to kind of end things out. But you never know. Looking at our ratings right now, our defense has regressed back to not being great at all. But we do have a top 10 passing offense, and we're kind of relying on that. And again, I think once we get in the backstretch of the season here, I think our record will pick up. But I'm not expecting something insane. We have $60 million. Quinnen Williams, kind of the face of why we're doing this rebuild right now, so we got to keep him in the building. And then here comes the issue. Here comes what we foreseen happening. Bell would like to keep, can't afford. Cooper Beebe, we can't afford. Tyler Guyton at tackle. I'd rather not have to go find a tackle right away. So we'll get Guyton locked in for the rest of the rebuild. Probably $1 million or $2 million more gets that one across the line. But Beebe and Bell, 2 starters, they're going to have to walk. Actually, honestly, got to give credit where credit's due. The Eagles team that are also very, very good. We get the big dub going in the bye. 2 straight wins over 2 playoff teams in the Rams and Eagles. And this one was a Dak Prescott. 3 touchdown, almost 400-yard player of the week performance for the, we're kind of, honestly, at this point, waiting for that bad regression year that happens with all old quarterbacks in Madden. And it's looking like it won't be this year for Dak. And we are rolling, man. We've had like the Saints, Panthers, Browns, Giants. You get the Jets. We are 10-5. So I think almost one of those things, like we survived the early part of our schedule to get this backstretch. Honestly, Jets, Commanders closing out. We should probably win both these games. But Dak Prescott continues to play at a very high level, getting the Week 16 Offensive Player of the Week. Unfortunately, we stumble at the final week of the season, losing to the Commanders. We go 11-6, which I think that'll be in like, 4-4, finishing 11-6. You'll take that. We get Green Bay because, of course, we just can't shake them in this rebuild. But I am a little concerned about our production. Dak Prescott, yards are still fine. Touchdowns and interception ratio, he's at that point, man. It's very rare to see a quarterback still playing at a high level in Madden when they get to Dak. What's Dak? 35? 34, 35 is right at that spot. Like, those are not numbers you expect from a 92 X factor. Our run game is still solid. I mean, Dak did get 8 rushing touchdowns. When you throw that in, 39 total, you ain't hating that. Receiving, with how things are, I don't know. George Pickens, that is terrible production. Ferguson was solid. CD was CD. But, like, Turpin out of nowhere, that's not great. That's a confusing situation. Defensively, Overshown continues to be incredible as far as a tackle machine. The rookie Xavier Atkins, 127 tackles, 7 TFLs. On the sacks front, like, halved from a year ago. 9 sacks Sutton, 8.5 Adigizua, 6 from Ezeraku. Quinnen Williams had, like, not one thing changed on the depth chart. Wasn't like I mixed and matched things around. Quinnen Williams just had, like, 15 less sacks than he did a year ago. So I'm now starting to worry that year one, that Super Bowl, that was probably, was that our only chance at a Super Bowl? Show Deron Bland with 5 picks, rookie Boot Carter with 1, Caleb Downs with 1. Early award winner goes to Deron Bland for winning Defensive Back of the Year. And for the sake of this rebuild, it is worth noting that once again, Micah Parsons, for the second time in 3 years, is Defensive Player of the Year. So we kick off our playoff round in the wildcard round against the Green Bay Packers, who went 11-6 and have a lot more in the green than we do. So I'm pretty worried. But 11-6 is a pretty good record. We said that I think for this Dallas team to go win a Super Bowl, we got to come in with like not real any expectations for the playoffs. This year very much fits that bill. On the road at Lambeau, Green Bay has been a pain in the ass for the Dallas Cowboys over the years. We will see. Again, I honestly have stronger vibes this year than I did last year because 0 expectations for this Cowboys team. We get 17 points, a 10-point lead, and we start the second half with a touchdown. But the thing's opening up. Green Bay scoring, we're scoring. Not a lot of defense being shown, which works out for us because our defense did not play overall pretty well this year. And that is a very nice win, 34-17. Suck it, Micah Parsons. And it's Dak. Put the team on his back. Did have a turnover, but 360 yards. 70% completion percentage. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Javonte got involved. CeeDee Lamb doing what he does best. George Pickens off a down year. Plays well in the playoff game. Dennis Sutton with a sack and a half. What did Micah Parsons do? Only a half sack. So advantage. Cowboys. Let's go, man. Again, no expectations. We could go all the way this year. In the divisional round, we get a rematch of the Year 1 NFC Championship game that we did win. It is the Seattle Seahawks on the road, a great home field advantage for them that we have to deal with. But again, we got a Dak Prescott that's playing out of his mind. And we get a Dallas Cowboy team that's flying just enough under the radar that we might not fall into the curse. It'll be the road dogs. Every game, we're going to be the underdogs. Underdogs against Green Bay. Underdogs against Seattle. And we need Dak Prescott to have another big 300-plus yards. Utilize your weapons. Utilize CD. Utilize Pickens. Utilize Ferguson. Throwing a little Javonte Williams when we need to. Man, oh man, we are just struggling to get plays in Seattle territory. It's over, dude. Touchdown, 2-point conversion. Woo! 1-score game. Dak, this is it. I'm going to go play-by-play. This is a potential legacy drive for Dak Prescott. We know Dak can score points when it doesn't matter. Can he do it when it does? I'd love to see it. We got a 4th and 1 for Dallas. And we punted! Oh, we get the ball back. Okay, that was a smart punt. Smart punt. What can we get here? Touchdown, 2-pointer. 12-yard pass to Pickens. And at the 2-minute warning, we get another, right there at midfield pretty much. Okay, I don't know why we're running there, but we'll take the penalty, 5 yards. 2nd and 3, brings up a 3rd and 3. Let's go. Kevontae Turpin, the return man, getting more involved in the offense. Don't know how. Don't know what changed on the depth chart, but the only person pissed off is probably George Pickens, but he's having a hell of a game. 19 yards to the 12-yard line. 20 seconds to go. With 1 second remaining. A 7-yard run by Javonte Williams. I gotta help him here. Just to get overtime. Like something quick to CD. 2-point conversion, gotta have it. And we get the CD Lamb. Legacy drive for Dak Prescott. Trying to will his team to a second NFC Championship game of this rebuild. We are going to overtime. Opening drive. Dak Prescott gets the football, and it's a quick punt. We're trading punts, and it's a field goal. Brandon Aubrey. The rare time having great special teams, which this Cowboy does. With Turpin and Aubrey, Dak Prescott forces overtime. A little help on the 2-pointer just to give them a chance. And that is, I don't know why it says it's tie, but we know we won. Neither quarterback played great. Dak, far from great. But Javonte, there we go. The contract that I've regretted. You know, Dak did run in a touchdown, but that is huge right there. That justifies the contract extension for him getting us back to a championship game. George Pickens with a receiving touchdown. Defensively, Ezraku and Quinnen Williams with sacks. We get a turnover. Big pick by Caleb Downs. Let's go. Wow. Super Bowl on the line. We get the 11-6 New York Giants with the top 10 rushing offense. The number 1 defense in the NFL. Literally, probably half hour ago, they just announced Brian Dable got fired. He's still there right now in real life. We're at home. See, now, perceptions, I think we're the favorites. We'd be the favorites on paper, and I'm terrified how this team's going to play. We've been the road dogs for the first 2 games. Now we're probably the favorites. Can we live up to expectations? We know if our pass rush can figure it out. They didn't show it this year, but we saw it last year. Right? Got a great secondary. Caleb Downs. Deron Bland's the DB of the year. I think it's going to come on the offense. Dak can't have a stinker. Just can't. So it's a low-scoring game. I know they have the number 1 defense. I like our talent, though. And first touchdown goes to the Cowboys, but the Giants respond right away. And we're going everything to play for. Low-scoring game. Which offense can make the most plays down the stretch? Giants with a 7-point lead. No. It's too long. Fuck! I'm gonna guess Dak probably played not great. Yep. There you go. Classic. First, as soon as we're favorites, classic Dak. And have even more pressure, the Giants go on and win the Super Bowl. Not even the Eagles have won the Super Bowl yet in this rebuild, so the pressure is on for us to get one here in the final 2 years. And now we got to deal with a regressing Dak Prescott. Loses his X factor. We're not in a great spot. Joe Milton is not the successor. We do not have the answer if Dak is not the answer on the roster. Dev Trace Brain pretty much the same. Defensively, Deron Bland for getting DB of the year up to superstar. Boot Carter, hidden dev, star dev. Feel decent about the linebackers. We're going to have to find a new starting strong safety. And unfortunately, man, just getting brutal regression out of Quinnen Williams. 1 down year, and they smash him. Now for our contracts, we are going to, I suppose, decline the 5th-year option on Mr. Booker. Cooper Beebe wants to stay. For the state of our salary cap, he'll take that 2-year deal. Sure, why not? It's just one less position we have to worry about. I do think we'll let Bell walk. And everything else we're good at. Another free agency period, man, where I'm not pissed that we're sitting on the sidelines here. I mean, as far as upgrades are concerned, a wide receiver 3, but we're not going to spend that. That could be the draft, maybe overdraft a wide receiver sooner than we'd like. We feel decent about the offensive line. Our pass rush should be better. Secondary is good. We need a safety. We need someone that can come in and shore it up. Xavier McKinney could be an interesting mercenary, but our salary cap's going to get weird next year because we have Dak. We got to figure out what we're doing with Dak. I think drafting for our needs this year and saving that salary cap, just because we can get aggressive with our salary cap, but I just don't know. I think next year the budget could get kind of tight, so I want as much wiggle room as possible. McKinney is interesting, but there are that's $25 million. Looking ahead, we got our focus scout here. There's 2 quarterback. I don't know. all these quarterbacks aren't going to go in the first round, I don't think. And the two that are at the bottom, we have Cedric Brown from Hawaii and Bobby Brewer from Syracuse. Look at the letter grades. 3 A's for all of them. Brewer does have the advantage when it comes to throw power with great. I think it's probably going to be worth it to, like, we'll scout one of them. Honestly, let's scout both these guys, and then let's go for, we need strong safety with letting Bell walk. We'll go probably just the top one here out of Florida, just to cover our grounds. But this could be the year for us to maybe panic, get a quarterback if Dak's going to keep messing around. All right, let's get the first round. The one thing I won't do is trade up for a quarterback. So let's see. What kind of run on cue? There was a lot of first rounders, and like none went. One went. So we're here at pick 29. What we do know is we scouted the top safety. He looks pretty good. Jace Delos. Now the question would be, you know, that doesn't look like a guy that I would blind draft anyways. Man coverage, zone coverage, not particularly good. But we know he's decent. You'd wonder if he's still in the second round if we want to get a little aggressive. But we scouted the quarterbacks. And, I mean, maybe we should have trusted, like, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13 still on the board. Now, the AAA, like, this guy looks decent, man. Bobby Brewer out of Syracuse. I'm thinking this is the play. Go quarterback here, and then trade up and grab that safety in the second round, assuming that he falls second. 39 in true value, 29, but we get a dev trade quarterback, undersized a little bit. Doesn't have a cannon of an iron, but his accuracies are on point and gives us a Hail Mary, depending on what happens with Dak this year. Now, with the first pick of the second round, I want to come and get that safety. I'm going to probably try similar offers all the way up, but the first overall pick, I can't, in good conscience, knowing that we don't win the Super Bowl within 5 years, we're going to come back and revisit this rebuild. I don't want to give up that amount of picks for a guy. Like, if that safety was like a top 5 talent and was still available, maybe, but we'll still try to be aggressive and get him. All right, we're able to find a trade partner with the Browns. Gave up like 2 depth players on rookie contracts. Our 3rd and 4th round pick this year, which is, my board's kind of shot after this selection anyways, because we are going to be looking at safety. Had to give up a 2nd rounder next year, which I do not love. But if this safety ends up being good, which I'm going to trust the recruiting and say that he is, we need to be a day 1 starter. And he ends up being, in terms of true value, 50 at pick 36, which you don't love. We do get the dev trait, but weak safety class, he's probably going to be the best of the bunch. So take a look at our draft recap. End up getting, also value here in Reinhardt, a 73 slot wide receiver from Ohio State. We do need a 3rd wide receiver. Couldn't find any nose tackle cheese. But we do get Delos, who's 74 dev trait, and Brewer, 75 dev trait. Look at the rest of the classes. Our first Madden generated class. Whoa, good year to need a tackle. Or lineman. 83, 82, 82 tight end going to the Giants. They don't need any more help. 81 tackle, another 80-plus tight end going to the Bengals there. I'm more curious about the safeties, man. I feel like Delos 74, far and away the best. And look at the free safeties. Oh, we missed. Ooh, 2 third-rounders that are 74s, and Harrington and Pryor. I like the trade, though. Because we need a strong safety. We're not cheesing the position around, mixing it around. I think Delos back with Caleb Downs is going to be a great duo for us. I will say, got to put in this backup quarter. I just need to prepare for life on the fact I think Dak's going to regress this year again, and I think it's a contract year. So just giving us the biggest potential Hail Mary on the quarterback. We'll get him as much. He's going to be our focus train player all year long as well. But I will say the bummer is, well, you know, if you have players in here and they have an X factor, it spoils that they have an X factor, and we do not have that on Brewer or Delos. That kind of sucks. For Brewer coming out of training camp, we have 2 skill points like every player with house rules. We're going to have to upgrade into the scheme fit, which might not give us the best and quickest rate of boosts is overall. But 77 certainly is something to work with, and he will be part of our focus train all year long. Also, credit where credit's due. Dak Prescott got himself an upgrade here. He knows the fire's on. He knows that we just He's Tony Romo, and our new quarterback's Dak Prescott. Let's see. So at midseason, we are 3-3. That's not good. That is certainly not good. We do have some good news, as the dev trade on the safety that we traded for, Delos, is a superstar. So we pair and have been able to draft a superstar and a superstar X Factor in this secondary. Now, the bad news for Delos is he's far away of an archetype as a scheme fit as we got to get, so every point's going to go into run support. Might hurt his overall ceiling, but he has a superstar dev trait, so hopefully we get as much XP as possible to make him a perfect run support scheme fit. But as when we get into the contracts, $152 million looks pretty good. Man, Dak wants $60 million. He's got to earn it. I don't want to spend money like crazy. But, like, I'm paying CeeDee Lamb over Dak Prescott. Tell you that right now. I'm paying Ravel, who's got already had 5. He's getting paid over Dak Prescott. I'm paying Ezraku, assuming that we can get back to where we were a year ago with our prolific pass rushers. Him, great 1-2 punch. Now we'll kind of slow down a little bit. I like Shamar James, Florida Gator bias aside, 24.78 with a dev trait. He'd be pretty cool to keep, especially at that price point. So we'll give him a 4-year deal. He wants a little bit more, probably $1 million can make him happy. But I think with Dak, I mean, it's good that we don't have to overpay. But, and I'm not gonna force like, oh, we're gonna get rid of Dak and we're gonna have the challenge of a backup quarterback, dev trait quarterback. You got to earn it. I'm gonna let his contract go right, and we're assuming that we'll kind of figure out that this is season here and go on to make a playoff run. I would say I need at least NFC Championship game to think about it. Because if not, I feel like we're at our ceiling. So at the end of year 4, we do make the playoffs. We go 10-7. Our passing offense, like this is far from, being sound the sirens. Dak's the reason why we're not playing better. We win the NFC East, our second NFC East title of the video. Dak was second in yard, but I don't care about stats at this point. I feel like any quarterback could step in and get some stats. I need playoff wins. I need to get over the hump, and Dak has got to earn it. 12 interceptions, a little high. The yards and touchdowns are fine. Javonte was solid, but he's going to definitely hit free agency this year. Dak had 39 total touchdowns. Not a problem. It's not his issue. 1,600 yards, 21 touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb. Pretty ridiculous. 900 yards, Jake Ferguson. For whatever reason, man, George Pickens, that actually might be the contract we need to regret. He is not, we're paying him like a wide receiver 1. He's playing like a wide receiver 3. Overshown Atkins with a bunch of tackles. Atkins with a bunch of tackles and 5.5 sacks. We got 11.5 Dennis Sutton, 8.5 Quinnen Williams, 7 from Ezraku. Get fine numbers. I don't love it. We saw the ceiling of our sacks. I don't know why we've been unable to get back to that level. And our interceptions have not been great. For award winner, CeeDee Lamb wins Offensive Player of the Year and Wide Receiver of the Year. And we get Xavier Atkins, Linebacker of the Year. But I would say technically, as NFC's champions, we're going into these playoffs with expectations, which is not great. We do not want that, especially with a home game against the divisional rival Giants. That is not a winning combination for this Dak Prescott Cowboys team. Well, let's see it, man. This is do or die time. Contract year, sometimes we've seen in sim, contract year players play out of their minds and give you production that you haven't got. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case here with Dak. That's like the winning combo. Is don't pay Dak, have him have to earn another contract. Up 21-9, hot start, 28-9. I don't think there's really any way our defense is going to allow us to crash and burn here. 35-16, I love to see it. I'm going to assume, unless this is like one of those weird games where like Javonte Williams has 5 touchdowns, Dak probably played pretty well there. 35-23, we do not crash and burn. And oh, yes, that's what you need. You need to motivate Dak. We get 5 picks on Jackson Dart, and we get 5 touchdowns for Dak Prescott. Offense and defense fired on all cylinders. George Pickens playing great. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. If he's going to play like dog shit in the regular season, as long as he turns up in the playoffs, I'll be happy. 2 picks to Ron Bland, 2 picks for Ravel, 1 from the best goddamn linebacker in the league. Couple sacks to go with it as well. And a dominating performance as the Cowboys roll. And in the division round, we get the 12-5 Detroit Lions, who are pretty damn good. Top 10 offense, the best rushing offense, a top 5 defense. But a matchup where I think we're the underdogs, that plays to our favor. And with 5 touchdowns, I'm kind of liking contract year Dak Prescott, if I'm being honest with you. What do we got here? Cool cinematics. Great home field advantage. But we got contract Dak Prescott. Might be the most dangerous player in the NFL right now. Touchdown Dallas. Hold Detroit to a field goal. Our defense is playing really well, man. Let's go. Low scoring game, but I think we have the defense to keep it ugly like Detroit's defense can. Turnover, touchdown Dallas, 4-point lead, and we get another. Quick to go. Oh, that has to be a touchdown. Settling for a field goal there is brutal. We need points here on this drive. Make it a 2-score game under 3 minutes to go. There we go. Contract Dak Prescott. That is all you need, Cowboy fans, if you're watching this. 24-10, we are back in the NFC Championship game. And Dak has 8 touchdowns to 1 pick during this playoff run. He's calling my bluff. Dennis Sutton with 3 sacks, 2 from Odigizua, sack and a half overshown. Atkins, the linebacker, the best linebacker in the league, gets his 2nd straight game with a turnover. We got all the momentum. And the championship game is set. We get the 13-4 Falcons, the #1 offense, a top 10 passing offense. Their rushing yards aren't great, but they know, with Bijan there, is going to be pretty great. We got to stop it. But based on the fact they're 13-4, we're 10-7. We still got underdog status and contract Dak Prescott. I don't think we'll be denied a Super Bowl appearance. So let's see it here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Cowboys, Falcons. Atlanta starts first. We respond 7-7. High-scoring game favors probably Atlanta. So we need our defense to shore up shop here and not let them get like 30-plus points. But if it goes 30-plus points, Dak's been playing at a level I think we could trade paint, throw haymakers, and tie. 21-21, a high-scoring game. This is a great drive, a very important drive. 3rd and 10 on the 26. Need a touchdown, settle for a field goal. Kind of just playing with our food here a little bit, but we hold them to a field goal. This looks like this could go to overtime. It doesn't even need to, because when you get Aubrey, you get across midfield. I fixed the Dak problem. You got to have him fight. What was that final play there? How long of a kick from Aubrey? 70? 56-yarder. That's why it's worth having a superstar to have kicker. Dak played well. Not great, but well. 2 touchdowns, no picks. George Pickens roasted his regular season performance, but in the playoffs, he's been our top target. Defensively, 2 sacks as Araku, 1 from Q. Got a couple PBUs there. I love that for the rookie Delos. 8 tackles and a PBU. Kickers matter. And because of our kicker, we are back in the Super Bowl for the 2nd time. Oh, wait, the Browns? Good defense. No, we cannot lose to the Browns. Nope. Browns got Ty Simpson from Alabama at quarterback. Solid stat line, nothing crazy. The run game's not better than ours. They got Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Not better than ours. Their offensive line's not better than ours. Their pass rush, I mean, we'll say that's a push. Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, Rashawn Gary is pretty nasty. Secondaries, Denzel Ward, maybe give them the slight advantage in the secondary. But ultimately, to a team, to a scheme, this needs to be a sweat-free coast to a Super Bowl. And, again, technically, this would be like, I wouldn't say Dallas would be an outright favorite in this Super Bowl. So let's keep that mentality of underdog and contract Dak. And for our team here, in terms of dev traits, no, nothing. Atkins goes up to superstar, which helps, but we already know that. He's a baller. Ty Simpson going up against Dak Prescott. There is not. They have Myles Garrett, we don't. That's probably the only advantage I'm going to give these guys. Dak Prescott, in this world, has been to a Super Bowl. Played terribly. Great chance to avenge that. We have 1, 2, 3, 3 and 1, 3 and 2, 4, 5, 5 and 3, 6, 7, 8. We are 8 and 3 in playoff games in this rebuild. So we have more than enough experience that I think gives us an advantage over Cleveland. Don't love Brandon Aubrey missing a kick. Do love the fact we get the first touchdown of the game. Going downfield, kick the field goal, so we keep that 7-point buffer. And our defense in the first half has pitched a shutout. No touchdowns for Ty Simpson. Hold them to straight field goals. Let's watch this drive here. How do I do this again? I want to go slow. No, that's not what we wanted. Okay, we'll go play-by-play, punt. We'll see what the defense can do here. 2nd and 13. 3rd and 13 coming up. Oh, I don't love that. Cardell take 20 yards. They got a drive going here. Judkins into field goal range, but we've yet to give up a touchdown. You got to trust the defense that when it matters, we're gonna man up here. Minute 56. 2-minute warning is come and gone. This is gonna be it. You'd like to think. 2nd and 10. A lot of screen passes, man. Take away the screens. It's been all Judkins. Penalty. 10-yard pass to Rondale Moore. Finally healthy. They need the 2-point conversion. They need the onside. Ezeraku on the 2-pointer. Might have just won us this game. Take the knees. I was getting ready to watch this final drive here. Dallas didn't want to play ball. I don't love that. What is that clock management? Giving them a chance? Dude. Okay, there we go. That's okay. I don't know. That's classic Dallas clock management, but contract Dak. If you do a Dallas Cowboy rebuild, and a lot of us do 5 years at a time, and it's not working out, do not pay Dak Prescott. Just see what you can get. A little bit of magic here out of contract Dak. We got one more. Now, our salary cap situation is not great. I hope Dak honestly regresses so that 1-year deal, that number falls a little bit, because if we pay Dak, we're going to be losing some guys. But for this Super Bowl, for this now to go checkmark, successful rebuild. We've had a kind of peaks and valleys of winning Super Bowls and then having L's, taking L's in rebuilds. I'm happy that I do not have to revisit and play hopefully the Dallas Cowboys at any other point for the rest of this Madden cycle. So for that, I am grateful. 20-15 ends up being a defensive battle. Dak Prescott was, again, not great. We got 2 Super Bowls for Dak, and he has... I got 240 yards, a touchdown, and a pick in those 2 Super Bowls. Kind of been pedestrian. I do not see a Super Bowl MVP on the offensive side of the ball. Ew, I don't know if I have one. I don't know who's going to get it. But we win ugly. It's all that matters. Wow, they actually gave it to Dak. I'm giving it to Boot Carter. How about that? All right, we get $101 million. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Caleb Downs because we're going to pay it. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Mr. It won't let me. Oh, there we go. On Sutton because it doesn't matter. But that's just good general managing. Dak's contract did not go up or down, so he wants a 1-year, pretty much $60 million deal, which we have to pay. Gives us $42 million, so that we should be able to re-sign Tyler Booker here. Has interest in staying with the team. And knowing that there's only 1 year left on the rebuild, yeah, let's keep everybody. The luxury. We'll keep Javonte Williams. Odds are, if we let Javonte Williams walk, he would have been the top available free agent anyways. Don't know if we have enough to keep Belton. No, we do not. So we are going to be going in. We need a right tackle. That's all we need. 1st-round pick, best tackle available. Now, we do have $12 million. So we might be able to get like a rental at right tackle. We need a right tackle. Defensively, we we couldn't afford to keep Odigizua here for another year, so we need another defensive tackle to play next to Quinnen Williams. There's no way we're going to get 2 straight drafts where I can't get a nose tackle cheese. I could probably plug and play there. But there is a potential possibility. But across the board, Trade piece? I guess we drafted a super... We literally... I said it could be like we just... Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, Dak Prescott. And here we are drafting... I mean, it was a first-round quarterback depth trade. Superstar on Bobby Brewer. Oh, man, if Dak would have lost, that would have been kind of fun to go with a superstar rookie quarterback. But Dak won. Credit where credit's due. Even with the regression, he's still 91 superstar. So maybe we can find a tackle and or a defensive tackle. What do we get for Bobby Brewer? I find that when you like, you're not gonna. Well, we got Mike Hall. That's not good enough. Delane. No, let me go look at the draft first. Now, those offers will still be on the table come draft time. I don't hate it. Those are two interesting DBs, but not, I wouldn't want a 87 star dev equivalent at D tackle or O tackle. And looking at the right tackles that are available, just completely out of our price range. $15 million a year, $22 million a year. You know what? Part of this whole rebuild, Micah Parsons trade, let's bring back Kenny Clark on a 1-year rental. I'm probably not going to be able to get a nose tackle that's better than 77 at that price point. And now we have a superstar dev quarterback. That should help us in a trade-up to find the best tackle. I'm getting the best tackle in this class. So I scouted the 3 best-looking tackles in this class. Sometimes you see much better roles if you're looking at tackle. We have the number 1 projected tackle, Cardinal Farrell. Not great. We get Woodard, who's a second-round pick. We got to go look at the mock draft. He's probably not going to last that long. But as a legit first-rounder. And the top right tackle, Mitch Conway out of Georgia, is also a round 1. So Conway and Woodard are who we want. Where are they going in the mock drafts? Just to get an idea. Come on, give me something easy. An easy trade to go get. Woodard's going 19th. They needed a quarterback, right? They offered us, I'm pretty sure, part of that trade package, right? And Conway's going 11th. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I've got robbed of players. I think I'd trade. Who needs a quarterback here? I think I'd want to get like this pick from Tennessee. They don't need a quarterback, so I don't know if that. I don't know. Maybe they're undecided with Cam Ward. I couldn't find a trade partner, so we are pretty much going to be going down the line until one of those tackles goes. So then we know we have to get one of the two because they're both first rounders. I don't think there's like a clear distinction between which one would be better. So I'm going to go more so with let the board decide where I need to trade up to. And then we're going to go be aggressive. So that mock draft 5, no tackles are going. There's no chance one of them is going to fall to us at 32. So we are going to have to move up. But this is kind of nuts. Okay. That probably would have been where we want to trade. Let's call Denver. So we have to keep the quarterback. It's only going to cost us a 1 and 2 future 2s that don't really matter for us here in this rebuild. And with that, we don't even have to worry about picking the right tackle. One's off the board. So Woodard, come on down at a USC. Can you be our next Tyron Smith? No pressure. That's just what we need you to be. Ends up being top 10, number 8 in true value at 20. With a dev trait is going to be our day 1 starter at right tackle. So take a look at our draft recap. I mean, he was going to go in the first round anyways. But 77 for a guy that was still projected to go in the second round, that is such a good freaking roll. Got to go look. Let's see what the Steelers. That was the other tackle we were considering. Conway, 76. So we end up getting the best tackle. They both have dev traits. I would have been happy with either or. But let's see what this dev trait is. Hopefully it's not like a superstar or something crazy. It's a star. We can live with that. Shit, these are usually automatic gold medals. We got to get this guy gold. It's going to be a day 1 starter. There we go. Has to be put him in the best position here. Got no stale. No, he's running out of gas. Protect Dak if your life depended on it. Let's go. Gold medal. So here we go. Year number 5. Trying to win back-to-back Super Bowls. This is an offense that does not have a weakness. Not even a backup quarterback. We bring in Woodard, the rookie. I love it, honestly, when we can get year 5 of a rebuild and still find a way to get a first-round pick on the field. There's not a weakness. Really, the only weakness to this team is like George Pickens hasn't held up the end of that contract extension we gave him. I really did think him and CeeDee Lamb would be perennial 1,000-yard receivers. Hasn't been the case, but as long as the offense overall he's playing at a ridiculous level, I won't be too upset. Defensively, there's not a weakness. We got Atkins, Shamar James, and Overshone at linebacker, Delos and Caleb Downs at safety. One of the probably the highest ceiling safety room in the NFL. Our secondary is on point. Ravel's a superstar. We got Deron Bland. We got Boo Carter. Would really love to see this pass rush get back to double digits. Who's this guy? Oh, it's Atkins. Okay. You know, 2-3 years ago, Dennis Sutton, double digits. Quinnen Williams, double digits. Ezraku, double digits. So we know that they have it in them. And then you go to special teams. This is kind of how I made Nealon stay on the roster. The CPU wouldn't get rid of him. Got him already his ring. Let's get him another ring. But Aubrey, we've seen firsthand in the sim, him win us games. Let's go, man. One more to close it out. Oh, okay. We'll just go 16-1. Cool. That's just something about the Giants and perfect seasons. The one blemish. Wow. Couldn't stop Scatterbo. What's that pains me, though? Like, our best single year is Dallas in our rebuilds. Can't wait for the Eagles' realistic rebuild. I'm going perfect season. That is a challenge I'm putting on myself because I can't have Dallas 16-1 being our best single season in our realistic rebuilds. You know how the hell we did this? Dak had 29 touchdowns. I mean, if you're not going to go crazy on touchdowns, at least your interceptions are down. 29-3 is not brutal. 4,300 yards. Javonte killed it. Dak did get 7 rushing touchdowns. So 36 total. CeeDee Lamb. We got our 2,000-yard receivers, but not the 2 you would have expected. Reinhardt. Shout out him. CeeDee Lamb. Ferguson almost 1,000 yards for a tight end. He was awesome in this rebuild. Defensively, 12.5 sacks, Quinnen Williams. 11 from Dennis Sutton. 8.5 Kenny Clark. 8 from... So Kenny Clark was a missing piece for this defense. Sack numbers are back on the rise. Shout out Boo Carter leading the team with 4 picks. Generally solid INT numbers. That goes runner-up for MVP. I'm going to assume that we have our second Coach of the Year award for Brian Schottenheimer. But how many times does the team go 16-1 and your only award winner is like a solid year out of your running back? Javonte Williams at running back is our only award winner. Dak top 3 for quarterback. You know, usually you get a couple sympathy ones as well. Nope. You know what? I'm glad I did this because this could test our theory of the inverse of what happened last year. Contract Dak, underdogs. We flipped it. Dak got paid. He's literally $60 million this year. We are 16-1. We are the most hyped team. How fitting would it for us to lose at home to a sub-500 Seattle team to cap this off? That's honestly, I'm going to be honest, Eagle hat coming back on. I'm hoping that happens. I mean, this is just the perfect storm. 16-1 Cowboys, home playoff game. Sub-500 Seattle Seahawks team. I mean, let's see. Maybe I don't want to lose, but I would admit the humor in losing. I'll say that. And it's not looking great. Down 8, 1-score game. Seattle, all momentum, constantly playing on our side of the 50. Great drive there to give us a chance in the fourth quarter. Big time drive here from Dak Prescott. We get 0 points. Down 8, still 1-score game. We'll go play-by-play here. We've already had a Dak Prescott legacy drive. This is where, like, if this is any other rebuild, I'd probably hop in just to ensure that we have a chance to win. But again, it'd be so fitting if we don't. 4th and 3. Game on the line. No timeouts. Dak Prescott. It's a tight end run. Okay. We get a roughing the passer. 15 yards. Zebras leading us down the field, as is classic in Jerry World. 1st and 10, 25 seconds to go. We have one play. I mean, hey. Contract Dak. Anybody out there, especially if you're a Cowboy fan, you might get your 16-1 season early. This is a great scheme, great system. Do not pay Dak Prescott if you want to win a Super Bowl. 16-1, and he fucking throws up a goose egg. Just imagine if we didn't win a Super Bowl. This might be the only time I would have been pissed off about Cowboys not winning. if we went 16-1, Super Bowl or bust type year, and we lose to an 8-9 Seattle team. But no, we're playing with house money. Won the Super Bowl last year, and now we can all kind of laugh. A bunch of Eagle fans probably hate watching this at Dallas. That was always like to do to round out a rebuild. Looking at our player stats, what they've been able to accomplish in their careers, including the 5 years of this rebuild. Dak Prescott at 53,000 yards passing, 377 touchdowns, 122 picks. Officially, Super Bowl MVP. Good for him. Ended up, contract Dak. That's all I can say. Running the ball, Javonte Williams, 8,500 yards, 75 touchdowns. Also worth noting, Dak's rushing numbers have been pretty good in this rebuild. 3,200 yards, another 54 touchdowns, so he's well over 400 for his career. But paying Javonte, I didn't like it immediately after I did it because I'm just showing player bias. He ended up being really reliable. One of the most, probably after CeeDee Lamb, the most consistent player on this offense. CeeDee Lamb, through 9 seasons, 13,000 yards receiving, over 900 catches, 106 touchdowns. We got 7,000 yards, 42 touchdowns for Pickens, probably the most disappointing player of this rebuild. Jake Ferguson was real good for a tight end, like constantly 900 yards. Very happy with that. Defensively, Overshown, 700 tackles. We got 82.5 sacks. Quinnen Williams had some big years with us for sure. 48 sacks from Dennis Sutton, including the new rookie single-season sack record, which is badass. 39 sacks. Ezra Raku, another player that was really, really fun. Deron Bland, 25 picks, 9 for Overshown. 7 for Ravel, who developed into a superstar player for us. And obviously Caleb Downs, X Factor. Xavier Atkins, who we won linebacker of the year with. We had really, really big-time drafts. And I think that certainly helped us win that Super Bowl in year 4. So there you go, fellas. That is going to wrap up the last of kind of like the big 3 rebuilds following a couple days ago's NFL trade deadline. So with that, I need you guys to comment in the comment section below. Which team do you want to see next in our realistic rebuild series? I will go with the most requested team. And we end up perfect rebuild for me as a Cowboy hater. I wouldn't want to say number 1 Cowboy hater, but I'm certainly up there. We won the Super Bowl, so the realistic rebuild gets a check mark. And then to kind of wrap it all up, we go 16-1 and lose in the first round of the playoffs to a 8-9 Seattle Seahawks team. But a fun rebuild. I'd say like the bummer for me personally is just I'm a George Pickens fan, so the fact that he never really popped off kind of suck. And I think that one year that we had where like our pass rush was disgusting, the fact that it never got back to that level, very, very frustrating. Very weird because I thought we were going to get ready to have Sutton, Quinnen Williams, and Ezra Raku, all 3 X Factors, which would have been pretty badass. But all in all, goes down very fun rebuild, as fun as it can be for an Eagle fan rebuilding the Cowboys. I hope you guys did enjoy too. So if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed, comment down below which team you want to see rebuilt next. Got a couple hours to go to the Eagles versus Packers. Going to be a big-time game. Go Birds. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying, reminder, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, I'm thinking 8 p.m. Eastern, Vegas Raiders Super Bowl stream plus off-season. Don't miss out. I'll see you guys there. Peace and love you. Have a good one.